So, we're thinking about redoing the kids' bedroom.
Yeah, it's supposed to be functional, but really it's just hoarding. Well, this is the way it is. Colin and James sleep up here. Anthony sleeps here. We have this bench that really is just a shelf, a padded shelf taking up space. And then we have totes and stuff underneath, and things is just everywhere. It needs to be way more functional and space smart and organized. So I think we're going to take all this out, build 3 bunks down this side, and then have an area with some cubicles or cubby things where they could put toys and whatever, and a small countertop that they could draw on or whatever, and then they'd have this other floor space to play. And then I even have an idea up my head, but I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to jinx it. I'm going to be crafty.
When are you going to tell us?
Once I know if it'll work.
How will you know if it's going to work?
Because I'll have tested something. We'll see. I don't want to give it away yet. Because I want to make sure I can pull it off. Alright, well this is what we have to work with. And so I'm just taking some measurements and going to make the basic designs, and we can go from there.
Traveling, exploring, and learning on the road. Furman's Family Road Trip. Cut, screw, stain, and the beds are done. That's not all we had to do.
There's the plans. Alright, I'm over at Home Depot getting wood for the bunk project. You know, one thing about traveling that kind of sucks is you're always in different places, and the stores are always set up completely different. And this Home Depot is kicking my butt. Alright, so I'm using 2x2s for a lot of the framing on the bunk beds, and unfortunately the 2x2 section in this place is hurting. Alright, so I think I got the straightest ones I could find. I was more interested in having ones that were actually not beat up than straight. Alright, so a lot of the trim around it is going to be 1x4. Let's see what they have. Alright, so I got the bulk of the materials here, and I'm going to head home and put together some bunk beds. Alright, so we got the 3 bed frames made. These are going to be the bunks. They're going to be mounted in the back room. And today I'm going to take these 3 bed frames and I'm going to sand them down and hopefully get them stained. That is the goal for today. Let's go. Alright, so I'm starting with a coarse sandpaper, 100 grit. This is to get all the big chunks off and to get just a good surface on, and then once I get done with that, we'll move to a finer grit sandpaper to get it ready more for finishing.
How are you?
Good.
We had a complaint about the noise from apparently the woodworking.
Hey, are you still at Walmart? Will you go to the tool section and get me a hand block to put the quarter pieces of sandpaper on? He told me I could. The people that complained aren't even in the park right now, so he said to go until I see them pull back in. It's the people right behind us. But, all right, thank you. Going to a 220 now, quite a bit finer. Gonna just do like a final go across, make it nice and smooth, and get it ready for stain. All right, so they're sanded, at least as good as I could get them quickly so that we quit disturbing the neighbors. So next step is going to be to finish cleaning them, but then to stain them. I got this stain. What I did was I took a piece of the stupid trim and tried to match it up as best as possible, so we'll see how it looks. So I've gotten cleaned up, sanded, and I've actually started staining. So these ones are the uprights, and then right over here I'm starting to stain one of the bed frames. Alright, so the stuff is all stained. It's drying. I'm going to let it sit overnight and we'll see how it turns out. See if I need to put another coat on it. If it does not need another coat, we will work on getting this stuff installed. These are what we've been using. These are what they call Johnny beds. Most toy haulers have them. What happens is these guys can go all the way up, all the way down to make room for your dune buggy, your toys, or whatever it is you want to haul. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is we need to get all of this old stuff out of here. Bottom beds are loose. Top beds are a little bit easier. You sit with these pins, just pull the cotter and the washer, and it comes off. The basic frame is up. We're going to do some cleaning up. Then I'm going to go disassemble part of the bed we took out to make the covers for these. But here it is. Take a look so far.
The beds are all done. I get the bottom.
I get the middle.
And I get the top.
Alright, with the bed build and losing the Johnny beds, one of the things that we were going to be lacking would be extra storage. Before, underneath those Johnny beds, we had totes stored. Each side could fit about 4. So when you have a tote with Legos and a tote with Connects and a tote with this and that, that's a lot of storage. So that's something we lost a lot of. So, in an effort to try to keep some storage for those totes, I built this. I took the supports from the bench that was there before. I built rails that go along and a little blocker on the top, and we're able to store totes on there. And then I have a cord that goes across to hold it while we're traveling, and this lip here prevents the stuff from going forward. But the beauty of this is it's not just here in the way. I go over here and I press this button and they go up. It's using the existing electric motor and rail system that was there for those beds. It wasn't an automatic thing. What I had to do was, this motor right here used to be over here. So I literally removed 2 screws, the motor came off, there was a bar that went across between the 2 sides so they were synchronized, and then I extended these wires over there, and voila, now I have an electric motor that will take these totes and bring them up close to the ceiling and out of the way, so we put some low-use items in them. In addition, I just put some little coat hooks here. Kids hang their backpacks, but like I said, it gets the stuff up out of the way, and we're able to still have the storage, but we don't have it in our way. So that was my little surprise to see if I'd be able to make it work, and I was able to make it work. Works great. We put the GoPro in here the first day we drove with it, and they barely moved. So far it's worked good, and every now and then Emmett wants something out of his toy box that's up there, so we do pull it down. But other than that, it's been great, out of the way, and an easy fix.